9/11. It's the 20th year anniversary of the day that most people know where they were at that point in time. For my grandparents, it would have been Pearl Harbor. For my parents, the day that JFK was assassinated. For me, it's 9/11. What brought this to the forefront for me was this summer when my friend Dedra Kaiser and I were performing I'll Be Here from Ordinary Days at a cabaret in June for the Peoria Area Performing Arts School and their production of Oklahoma. We were funding a live orchestra, and she's joining me today, and she's actually performing with me on the recording today. So Dedra, where were you on 9/11?
I was on my way to the doctor's office because I was 9 months pregnant with my first child, and I remember hearing it on the radio and not really understanding what was going on, because that was when the first towers hit, and right when we got to the doctor's office and we're checking in, the second tower was hit, and we saw that on the TV, and I will never forget where I was. Yeah.
I feel you, because I had babies at the time too. My daughter was she wasn't even 3 months old, and we didn't have a TV on that level of the house. I was listening to NPR that morning. I was sitting at the kitchen table nursing her, and I was watching my son, who was 21 months old, outside playing in the freshly mown grass, just like throwing grass clippings up in the air and turning somersaults and laughing his head off. And on the radio, I'm hearing planes hitting a tower. And I'm just, on the inside, I'm crying for my children that their world they'll never know the world I grew up in, where I felt so safe growing up as a child. So I feel for parents. I felt for parents that day that would maybe never go home to see their children again. And children would grow up without their parents, just from the destruction that happened that day. Rebekah von Rathonyi, who's the artistic director of Central Illinois Ballet, and she's also the founder of that company, who choreographed the piece that we'll see later. She said that she had two cousins, and one of them, and they both worked in New York and the World Trade Center, and one had overslept their alarm that morning for the first time ever. So didn't make it into work that day. And that was what saved his life. And the other went into work that day at the towers and never made it home. So this story really connects with us. And could you just now set the piece that we'll be seeing today?
Yes, the piece is from, as you mentioned, the musical Ordinary Days. A small show with just 4 characters, but this piece, the character Claire sings towards the end of the show as she meets her now boyfriend, and is recounting to him her relationship with her previous husband, who never came home from 9/11. He stopped in at the office that morning, and as they were going to celebrate their anniversary, and never came back.
Now we present to you I'll Be Here from Ordinary Days, as interpreted by 3 dancers from Central Illinois Ballet. We want you to know we remember, we haven't forgotten, but we're trying to heal and move on.
We met, of all places, in front of Kristina's, some freakishly cold winter's day. I had on several unflattering layers of wool. He slipped on the ice with his grocery bags full. So I rescued some Fruit Loops he dropped by the curb, and he made some remark that my smile was superb. I thought that was sweet, and I started to go, when he said, "Hey, what you doing tomorrow? Because I'll be here at the corner of Bleecker and Mercer tomorrow at 7. If you want to meet up, I'll be waiting right here. And in case there are 2 fellas waiting for you, my name's John." He waved and was gone. Needless to say, I went back there to meet him, mostly to see if he'd show. And there he was out in the cold with his jacket pulled tight. He took me to dinner and kissed me goodnight. The next week we went to this terrible play, and the week after that drank hot chocolate all day. When suddenly 8 or 9 months had flown by, and he said, "Hey, what you doing the rest of your life? Because I'll be here right beside me as long as you want me to be. There's no question. There is nothing I've wanted so much in my life. This might sound immature, but I'm totally sure you're the one." And we had just begun. We got hitched in September, our favorite month, with a rock band that played in this old synagogue. And we found an apartment on West 17th Street and talked about children and getting a dog. Our first anniversary came in a flash, and we promised to take the day off. He had to go into his office that morning, and so I went walking uptown to this bakery I know, when I heard on the street what I thought was a joke, till I noticed the sirens and saw the smoke. So I'm running back home with this feeling of dread, to the voicemail he left with the last words he said. "I'm sorry, I don't mean to ruin your evening by bringing up all of this stuff. You're probably wondering why I even called you tonight. Well, today something happened that spooked me all right. I saw this storm cloud of papers fall down through the sky, and I thought of that day, and I started to cry. When as sure as I breathe, I heard John clear as day, saying, 'Hey, you're allowed to move on, it's okay, because I'll be here, even if you decide to get rid of my favorite sweater. Even if you go out on my birthday this year, instead of sitting at home, letting all of life's moments pass by. You don't have to cry, because I'll be here, even when you go back to the places we went to together. When you take off my ring and you let yourself smile, when you meet someone handsome and patient and true, when he says that he wants to be married to you, when you call him one night and he meets you downtown, and you finally answer him yes. Yes, Jason, I will marry you. I will give you my heart. It has taken so long, but I'm ready to start. Right now, John's whispering congrats in my ear, 'cause I finally let myself tell you I will be